Now at 7 o'clock, a pair of headlines from Newport. First, the city taking legal action to stop an ICE facility from being built. Second, a judge hands the city another win in its legal battle over a Coast Guard helicopter. More on both stories coming up. We're also covering an atmospheric river in California that's causing severe flooding there. It's also impacting holiday travel for people who live in Oregon and Southwest Washington. And we have weather ourselves to talk about. A weather impact alert is on the way for Christmas Eve because the possibility exists of a strong windstorm around here. Rod Hill with the latest on all of that. The Sunrise Show, streaming live at 7 o'clock, starts right now. Good morning and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Drew Carney. China Green has the day off and so does Chris McGinnis, but here comes Rod Hill. So Rod, do we want to talk about a windy Wednesday tomorrow or more of a calm day today?
Well, I want to let people know that we are tracking a potential wind event tomorrow. We'll have more details coming up in my forecast about 8 minutes from now. But the Weather Service has popped up starting at 7 in the morning, our local time, going to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. A wind advisory. Notice this goes from Roseburg up by 5 all the way up through Seattle. More on that coming up. Now, to today, hardly a breath of wind to be found. We do have cloudy skies. We continue to see some light showers here on the west side and a mix of flurries and light rain around John Day, Baker City, and Ontario out across the east this morning. Temperatures are pretty comfortable, kind of where they have been. Snow levels at 3,000 feet. Portland right now sitting at 44 degrees. And this will be another day with temperatures in the mid-40s to about 50 during the day. And I think once we get through the next couple of hours, we really expect mainly dry weather. Again, we'll get into tomorrow's wind threat coming up in about 8 minutes. Drew?
All right, thank you, Rod. We're going to start our news headlines this hour with a pair of crashes that took place within an hour of each other last night. Both involved pedestrians. So the first one happened around 7:30 in southeast Portland near 82nd and Glenwood. We don't have a lot of information about this crash. We know the initial call came in as a pedestrian crash, but we're still waiting to hear from Portland police with more details. About an hour later, right around 8:30, a car hit and killed a person in Aloha near 198th and TV Highway. Police blocked off the road for a couple of hours to investigate, but we know TV Highway is back open this morning. The city of Newport is suing the Trump administration to keep federal officials from building an ICE detention facility at the city's airport. KGW Libby Dowsett joins us live this morning with more on this latest legal battle between Newport and the federal government. Libby?
Drew, the city is concerned that DHS is moving forward with putting that detention center at the airport there in Newport. So they are taking every step possible to try to stop this project, including filing this lawsuit yesterday. Now, the city filed that suit in federal U.S. District Court in Eugene, claiming the federal government still plans to put an ICE detention facility in town without following the proper procedures. The lawsuit names DHS, ICE, and the Coast Guard as defendants and alleges the plan violates environmental protection laws. City leaders claim federal contractors are hitting up local businesses like hotels, a catering company, and utilities with questions about providing services for a facility of more than 200 people. Also Monday, a federal judge ordered DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and the U.S. Coast Guard to leave a rescue helicopter in the city of Newport. Judge Ann Aiken granted a preliminary injunction, going a step further than her temporary orders last month. A relief for many people in Newport who fought to have the helicopter brought back from North Bend. And as for that detention facility, the city is hoping a judge will block that project, saying it's a violation of several federal statutes. KGW has reached out to DHS for comment. So far, no word back. Drew?
All right, Libby Dowsett with the latest for us on what's happening in Newport. Meanwhile, the attorneys general for 20 Democrat-led states, including Oregon and Washington, are also suing the Trump administration for defunding the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The Bureau is the country's primary independent watchdog designed to protect American consumers. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield says the current director of the Bureau, Russell Vogt, is refusing to request any funding for the agency, virtually guaranteeing that it will run out of money next month. So this lawsuit aims to have a judge order the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to request funding to keep it up and running. Governor Tina Kotek announced that $65 million will go towards residential behavioral health treatment in Oregon. The money will pay for 150 new beds across 7 counties, supporting things like withdrawal management and psychiatric inpatient care. Multnomah County already has close to 130 beds for this type of care. The new beds are expected to be available, but not until 2027, with 30 of them coming to Marion County and 22 in Washington County. We saw a pair of atmospheric rivers in the Pacific Northwest last week that caused flooding, landslides, and widespread power outages. A new atmospheric river has parts of California underwater this week. NBC's Liz Kreutz has the latest for us from California.
The wrath of Mother Nature impacting travel coast to coast.
I don't know if we're going to make it.
Parts of the West Coast slam with torrential rain and flooding. In Redding, California, authorities say a driver died after their car got stuck in rising waters. The mayor saying that person had called 911 for help, but their phone died. By the time police officers arrived, it was too late.
We had our police swimming through the water, breaking the glass of the vehicle, pulling the victim out of the vehicle. It's just really unfortunate the victim just didn't make it.
Across the region, first responders making multiple water rescues. Here, seen swimming out to a submerged vehicle. Sheriffs also responding to trap residents in rural areas by jet ski, where in some places the water was chest deep. Even these goats needing rescue. And look at this, the force of the storm so strong it caused a deluge of water to erupt from an oversaturated drain. The powerful storm also hitting the Sierra Nevada.
Right now, there's probably about a foot of water.
Firefighters rescued multiple people, including children, stuck in this rental home outside Tahoe. You can see them climbing on a ladder extending over the floodwaters to get to safety. Among those bracing for a deluge, San Francisco, where almost all of the power is finally back on after that massive blackout over the busy pre-holiday weekend that brought the city to a standstill. Videos show self-driving Waymo cars stalling in the streets, unable to navigate the downed traffic lights. The company temporarily suspending service. The cause of the electrical fire that led to at least some of the outages is still unknown. Meanwhile, across the country, some 122 million Americans are estimated to travel this holiday season on the roads and in the air, hoping to get out in time.
Again, that was Liz Kreutz with the big picture around the country. Meanwhile, a strong windstorm is possible around here tomorrow morning. So local agencies are preparing for conditions like we saw last week, with the potential again for downed trees and down power lines. The Oregon Department of Emergency Management is warning people at this point about potential power outages tomorrow. And PGE says it's preparing crew members and staging materials so that they can address outages as quickly as possible.
But this week I think there's an added element to it. We have the holidays, and and we just had the outages last week. So I think we are taking advantage of the time we have now to give folks that as much warning and kind of advanced planning as possible.
PGE also talked about putting together a power outage kit that can include things like a flashlight, headlamps, a battery-powered radio, a charger for your devices that will work in your car, and enough ready-to-eat food and bottled water to last you for 72 hours. So let's get to it. Rod Hill, your forecast for tomorrow morning. I know it's not a slam dunk, but again, it's a possibility, right, that we get this windstorm.
It is a possibility. This windstorm will not be here first thing in the morning. By the way, we'll probably get through our sunrise show tomorrow without any significant wind other than east winds coming out of the gorge. Just kind of mid to late morning where we think the main threat begins. And remember, it only takes 45, 50 mile per hour wind gusts for us to start having down trees, limbs down, power outages, et cetera, et cetera. So again, the Weather Service has put up a wind advisory for the entire I-5 corridor tomorrow, starting at 7 going to 4 o'clock, with the potential for gusts 35 to 55 miles per hour. Now, as Drew mentioned, it's not a slam dunk. We say that because there are very trusted weather models that simply don't show it. It's a low pressure system that's coming up south to north across our area. The track is favorable. But will the low be packed tightly, which would produce, in terms of pressure gradients, a windstorm? Or will the low be kind of weakened with not much gradient and we just don't get the wind? That could go either way right now. Temperatures, let's go back to today. We've got temperatures in the 40s. We have early light showers. Otherwise, moving forward, this is a mainly dry Tuesday. Winds will be on the light side. Here's what radar shows right now. Lots of dry spots, but there are some mainly traces of light rain to be found. We've had some breaks in the cloud cover at times. Looking from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City, temperature is 42 degrees. We've got a little bit of snow over the passes, but generally pretty good conditions traveling over the high country of the Cascades. This morning, there's Timberline Lodge. They picked up 1 inch of snow in the last 24 hours. Here's the afternoon map. Mainly, we're looking at dry conditions of temperatures in the 40s, and then today's high 50 at most. Tomorrow, the wind advisory, the impact alert for the potential of a wind event. Christmas Day, it's all gone. In fact, tomorrow evening, it's all gone into the night. Christmas Day, some showers around in 49. And you see a dry weekend right there, Drew.
You see it, Rod. I see it because you put it on the board. Thank you, Rod Hill. All right, let's talk about what's coming up next here on Sunrise.
We're expecting to see slightly higher visitation. Potentially we may sell out.
First, Timberline over the weekend. Today, Mount Hood Meadows and Bachelor, Snoqualmie Pass and the Washington Cascades, also talking about the start of ski season. We'll have more updates from the local resorts coming up when Sunrise continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Mount Hood Meadows set to open for the season this morning at 9 o'clock, so just a couple of hours from now. The ballroom carpet, Buttercup, and Easy Rider lifts will all be up and running. The Daisy lift may be running too, but we know that Mount Hood Express will not be open yet. Lift tickets, by the way, for Meadows sold out for Christmas Day. Skiing and snowboarding at Mount Bachelor also set to start this morning. Bachelor staff says the resort has seen about 19 inches of new snow over the past week, with even higher totals mid-mountain. And the summit at Snoqualmie Pass and the Washington Cascades is also set to open up today. For more on that, here's Maddie White with our sister station in Seattle.
Christmas tradition up here is being able to, open up your presents and then go and get a few turns in on the mountains.
Waiting for the ski resorts to open can feel like a game of Connect 4.
Normally you're skiing by now.
Conditions have to line up perfectly.
Roller coaster. There's been a lot of up and downs.
Says Summit spokesperson Carter Rich.
It's really important that we have enough snow for loading areas.
Conditions like the snow's height.
We typically need about 2 feet.
And the snow's moisture levels.
We always like a little bit denser snow to start with.
Dan Bowden.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Is among many getting excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get out.
If demand wasn't already high enough. The summit at Snoqualmie says they expect more visitors this year, due in part to the flooding impacts on Highway 2. Highway 2 is closed from Skykomish to Leavenworth.
there's going to be more people. We're already seeing more trucks on I-90 as well, just with 2 being closed.
Those who might typically visit Stevens Pass for its proximity to Seattle may instead visit Snoqualmie.
We're expecting to see slightly higher visitation.
It's why on this holiday week and weekend,
Potentially we may sell out,
Rich suggests booking lift tickets for Snoqualmie online in advance.
but we also limit lift ticket sales and icon reservations to help control the total number of people on our mountain at any given time.
Maddie White,
So hopefully we'll be able to take on some extra skiers and snowboarders.
King 5 News.
Let's go back to some of the more local resorts. Bachelor down in Bend, we reported 19 new inches of snow over the past week, but you said those numbers are a little...
Well, because when you say it that way, it's like, it sounds to me like they had snow and they added 19 inches. No, they didn't have any snow. And then they got 19 inches total. The bases here locally, including Timberline, are currently all sitting under 2 feet of base, which is... that's like a rug that's getting a little thin, and you say to your partner, we need to go get a new rug. This one's starting to wear out. That's kind of where we are right now.
It wouldn't be bad if it was like November 15th, but here we are, it's December 23rd.
But they're opening, and that's huge, and at least they have something going, but just understand it's about as minimal as it could be. Well, let's get back into tomorrow's weather. Today, cloudy skies, maybe a light shower to be found, but really pretty quiet. No wind, will be 46, 48, maybe 50. Same type of weather we've been having. Here's the wind advisory again for tomorrow. Now, the Weather Service up and down I-5, Roseburg through Portland, Salem, Longview up into Seattle. Locally, the Weather Service has the wind advisory up tomorrow from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. Now, the early wind will only be east wind coming out of the gorge, gusting 40, 45 miles per hour potentially into East Multnomah County. This is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Notice we're also starting to see some strong winds early in the morning from the east, coming down over some of the Cascade Gaps. There's Gates at 45, Estacada and east wind at 30. But otherwise down here in the valley, nothing happening. That will change. And the main concern is the south wind coming up the valley. Here we are at 11 o'clock in the morning. Now understand, this is just one model. I can't say it enough that there are other multiple models that show nothing, that show like a 15 to 30 mile per hour south breeze tomorrow, and that's it. But here we go, potentially 45 mile per hour south wind in Salem at 11 o'clock. You've got Sweet Home at 38. You've got at noon 50 mile per hour winds in Portland, 51 Estacada, 45 in Hillsboro. Now the wind flow is all from the south, and the east winds in the gorge will be over, and then we progress into the 1 o'clock hour. Now the peak winds are starting to already fade, and once we get past 2 or so, I think the wind threat will be over and it will be shifted up to Washington. So if you have plans Christmas Eve evening, Wednesday evening overnight, this will be over and will probably be mainly dry out there as well. Here's Futurecast. Let's back it up to today. Lots of clouds, 11 o'clock. This is light precip out east, mainly dry weather here on the west side. Little batch of light showers coming in this evening, but during the day today, we're pretty quiet. Here we are tomorrow morning. Here's the rain picking up, especially offshore. The main band of rain is late morning into the noon hour. Here's 11 o'clock tomorrow, and then that moves through. And then these showers going into early Wednesday evening will continue to move up to the north, and we'll get some drying taking place. Temperatures right now with light winds, 44 Portland, 43 Salem. Astoria, good morning, 38 for you. It is freezing out in Baker City this morning at 32. Valley forecast, a shower chance, but mainly dry moving forward. Temperatures mid-40s or warmer with light winds. 7-day forecast. I've got a ceiling of 50, which some of us have been hitting lately and some haven't. There's the weather impact alert for the wind advisory tomorrow. Christmas Day, just south breezes, maybe 10 to 20. Some showers around, a high of 49. Still looks like the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, could be all dry. And that's your forecast.
Thousands of new documents released overnight from the Epstein files containing many references to President Trump. I'm Alice Barr in Washington. Coming up, I'll have the latest details and why the Justice Department says many of the new claims are untrue and sensationalist.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. weather impact alert days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
More Epstein files released overnight, with CNN reporting that President Trump's name appears on flight records. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle were already calling for legal action against the Department of Justice over how the files have been released. Here's NBC's Alice Barr with the latest.
As lawmakers head home for the holidays, many lobbing parting shots against the Justice Department for not releasing the full files on sex offender Jeffrey Epstein by last Friday's deadline set under the Epstein Transparency Act. The Senate's top Democrat bringing up a resolution for legal action against the DOJ for what he called its, quote, blatant disregard of the law in its refusal to release the complete Epstein files, and accusing the Trump administration of hiding the truth.
This whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has.
President Trump voicing frustration over the continued controversy.
I thought that was finished. I believe they gave over 100,000 pages of documents.
So far, though, less than 10,000 documents have been made public, and there are heavy redactions, with close to 700 pages entirely blacked out. The Justice Department says it's necessary to protect victims. NBC News legal analysts saying a judge would likely grant an extension on the file's release.
But I think here, when we're looking at this from the public perspective, outside of the courtroom, there's reason to have skepticism. It's really the way that this is played out over time.
Former President Bill Clinton now joining calls criticizing the process. He's appeared in a series of photos that his spokesperson called selective releases, implying wrongdoing against someone repeatedly cleared. Now urging the Justice Department to release anything that remains related to the former president to promote transparency over insinuation. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Here's a look at some other national headlines with your morning rush. The U.S. military says it struck another boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing one person. Military leaders say the target was a, quote, low-profile vessel operated by a terrorist organization in international waters. U.S. officials say the military killed a drug-related terrorist during the strike. Search and rescue crews are responding to a deadly plane crash in Texas yesterday. Investigators say a Mexican naval plane carrying burn patients crashed into Galveston Bay, southeast of Houston. The Coast Guard confirms at least 5 people died, including a 2-year-old. Rescue crews saved 4 people from the water. 1 person, though, is still missing. The Department of Education will review safety protocols at Brown University after the mass shooting on campus earlier this month. The investigation will look at whether the school violated the Clery Act, which requires universities to meet certain campus safety and security requirements in order to receive federal student aid. And it's still growing. No one matched all 6 numbers in the latest Powerball drawing last night, pushing the jackpot to an estimated $1.7 billion for tomorrow's drawing. The cash option, by the way, stands right at about $781 million. This is the 4th largest Powerball jackpot ever. By the way, Powerball jackpots have been won on Christmas Eve once before and 4 times on Christmas Day, and that's your morning rush. We're learning more about the plane crash that killed longtime NASCAR driver and Camas native Greg Biffle. 6 other people also died in the crash last Thursday. Investigators say they're still trying to figure out why the jet tried to return to a North Carolina airport shortly after it took off.
I can confirm that the NTSB is aware of one brief text from a passenger on board the aircraft to a family member that read, and I quote, emergency landing. Again, that's emergency landing. We are not aware of any other communications from passengers on board the aircraft to those on the ground.
Federal transportation investigators also say the plane was stable on approach but was coming in too low. They'll also analyze the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder for more clues. A serial bike thief is behind bars after breaking into several local apartment complexes and stealing thousands of dollars in bikes. We're going to have a look at the security video that shows the alleged crimes coming up in our next half hour of Sunrise. Plus,
it looked like a scene out of Mad Max. It was quite stressful to be in, but now it feels like the Portland I grew up in.
well, talking about people coming back downtown for holiday shopping this season. KGW's Libby Dowsett is going to join us live with a look at how the city of Portland appears to be finally coming back to life downtown.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
On a Tuesday morning, I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. We're pretty quiet out there right now, but I want to give you a heads up that we do have a wind advisory that has been issued by the National Weather Service for tomorrow. This is up and down all of the I-5 corridor up through southwest Washington between 7 and 4 p.m. Down trees, power lines, south winds gusting 35 to 55 miles per hour, all possible. That would, if we get it, lead to, of course, down trees and power outages. So if you have holiday decor that would be impacted, probably want to take care of that before you go to bed tonight. Out there right now, we're pretty quiet. It's mostly cloudy as we look at an early morning shot from the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Aloha, 44 degrees. There are some traceable light showers around. Moving forward, we think it's mainly dry today, and we could be upper 40s at noon. 46 at 5 p.m. And then there comes the KGW weather impact alert for the wind threat tomorrow. Again, this is not a guarantee. Some models show we simply don't get it. Thursday right now, just a typical south breeze day with scattered showers and a high of 49 on Christmas.
.30 half hour of the Sunrise Show on this Tuesday morning, 2 days before Christmas, and we've got some fresh snow up there on Mount Hood. A look from our Timberline Lodge sky cam pointing at the trees and what appear to be some cloudy skies up there, Ryan.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at?
Yeah. I mean, at least we have solid coverage. About a week ago, we had nothing. There was nothing up there.
Yeah, big difference in a couple of weeks ago.
We're still under 2 feet, but the resorts are scrambling to open up what they can, and that's one of our stories today. Passes look like they're in good shape for travel this morning. My turn? Yes. Well, you look like you were hanging on every word I'm saying.
I want to take a breath. All I was going to mention is, yes, Meadows and Bachelor both opening up today. So that's the latest headlines from the resorts.
That's big news for folks that want to get up there, right? Here's a look at our Doppler radar. We've got some light traceable amounts of moisture in the area. Moving forward, we really think this turns into a mainly dry daytime hours of a Tuesday. There is good visibility. The clouds over the city where roads look a little damp from some overnight light showers. 43 degrees in Salem right now. Portland about the same at 44. We'll be 49 at noon, and I've got us 46 at 5 p.m. No issues today. However, a wind advisory has been issued for tomorrow. The advisory from the Weather Service starts at 7 a.m. We'll get into that wind projected forecast in just a bit. For now, let's go back to Drew.
All right, thank you, Rod. Let's get to our top story here this half hour. Police identified the victim of a deadly stabbing that happened Saturday morning in the Hazelwood neighborhood of Southeast Portland. Investigators say 33-year-old Jessica Host Norwest was already dead inside an apartment along Southeast Stark Street when officers got there on Saturday. Police arrested her husband, 41-year-old Jason Norwest, who's charged with her murder. New video shows a 75-year-old woman attacked in downtown Seattle earlier this month. The video has been edited, just so you know. We stop it just before we actually see her get hit. The attack happened in the middle of the afternoon. What you see here is the suspect walking down the street with a suitcase and a stick in his hand. 75-year-old Jeanette Markin just standing there on the street corner. That's when police say Filet Pea swings the stick, hits Markin in the head. He then walks off, but was stopped by police just down the block. Bystanders, meanwhile, helped Markin, who suffered a broken nose, cheekbone, and extensive damage to her right eye. Pea is charged with assault. Here in Portland, a suspected serial bike thief is behind bars and facing a long list of charges. It's the second indictment under Multnomah County's new burglary task force. KGW's Devin Haskins has more.
The district attorney's office providing this surveillance video, June 19th at the Frankie condos in Southeast Portland. A man seen walking out of the bike storage locker with an e-bike.
E-bike that I've seen is in excess of $10,000, and then the trailer, it's $100 or so.
It's just one of several that 34-year-old Christopher Daniel McGinnis is allegedly connected to at 3 different condo or apartment buildings.
At this time, it's 11 incidents of burglary, and it's around 8 of those incidents he's stealing bicycles, and multiple bicycles for each incident.
The DA's office says that between June and September, McGinnis broke into 3 different storage spaces, stealing several bikes. In one instance, at the Frankie in Southeast Portland, McGinnis and another man went through lockers, stealing several items.
The male that is seen wearing all black with a black hood, he has been identified by Portland police as Mr. McGinnis, Christopher McGinnis. The male to his right with a backwards hat on, we are interested in identifying.
McGinnis is the second indictment that the district attorney's office has secured since starting the burglary theft task force last month. Earlier in December, a woman was charged with stealing items at a glass shop.
The burglary task force is aimed at prosecuting those that are committing burglaries that are affecting our community. There's no one size fits all. We are aimed at prosecuting those that are prolific burglars in our community.
It's unclear how many bikes were stolen, and Portland police says none of them have been recovered so far.
We encounter a lot of bikes that we assume are stolen in the condition they're left in, but we run the serial number and we don't get a hit back because they're not registered.
Again, that was Devin Haskins reporting for us this morning. McGinnis, by the way, is in jail on a $100,000 bond. Portland police are looking for the other man in that video and any other victims or businesses that may have been burglarized. People in the small town of Detroit, east of Salem, barely survived the 2020 wildfires 5 years ago, and now they have to recover from last week's rain and windstorm. Detroit still under a state of emergency and a boil water notice. According to the Oregon State Fire Marshal, over 70 structures were damaged, including homes and RVs. Most of the damage came from strong winds that knocked trees onto homes. Now, water, for the most part, came on for people yesterday afternoon, but it was shut down over the weekend.
This storm churned up tons and tons of debris, and trying to filter that debris through a water plant and keep fresh water flowing, it's really difficult. I've been in Detroit since 1971. My family's been here, and we've seen storms here, but I've never seen one like this.
So as we mentioned, water came back on yesterday for most people there in Detroit. But even though it's back on, the boil water notice remains in effect until tests can show that the water is safe to drink. Most of the evacuation orders in Oregon City have been lifted at this point following a landslide there last week. So this video we're going to show you right here is from Saturday. It shows crews working to clean up the slide near Applegate Terrace. That's the neighborhood there in Oregon City that was impacted by that landslide. Officials say the 2 homes that were hit by debris are now safe to go back into, but residents there have to be ready to leave again in case that hillside starts to slide again. Level 1 Be Ready evacuation orders have been lifted for other people who live nearby. A Woodburn man is facing animal abuse charges after deputies say he abandoned his dog in a flood. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says deputies found Bruno on Sunday trapped in a partially submerged kennel. They did get to him. They took him out to the vet before they sent him to the animal shelter. Now the owner was arrested and his charges include animal abandonment and neglect. Leavenworth, Washington, meanwhile, is starting to bounce back after it was dealing with some major flooding and power outages. The Bavarian Village we know is famous for its holiday lights, and it is now welcoming people back, although it's hard to get there at this point because the main highway to Leavenworth is closed. December, always one of the busiest times of year there, and business leaders say that they hope people will still come out.
Right now they need people. We need visitors, one of the things that we've been fighting is just disinformation that is out there. People think that, downtown flooded, that shops are closed, but they're not. There was really not a lot of damage to any of the commercial business district. It was mostly in the residential areas.
Here's a website to check out, leavenworth.org. There's a new online marketplace set up on that website where people can go to support the local shops. In Monroe, Washington, northeast of Seattle, a movie theater is spreading holiday cheer to families impacted by this month's flooding. Brady Wakayama with our sister station in Seattle brings us more from Monroe.
It's the season of giving, but this year that spirit is being overshadowed by tragedy.
That's heartbreaking when it happens at this time of year. It's heartbreaking any time, but especially this time of year.
Tens of thousands of people throughout Washington are dealing with the devastation caused by this month's historic flooding.
I can't believe some of the stuff you see on news. You almost want to think that it's not real, but unfortunately it is real, and it's just crazy.
James Reyna is the general manager of Galaxy Theaters in Monroe. He's seen the destruction firsthand.
At least for me, watching movies is at least a little escape from reality, even if it's just for a couple hours.
Since December 10th, the theater's given free movie tickets and popcorn to families hit by the floods. About 10 families have taken them up on it so far. The theater also held a donation drive, filling several vans with clothes and other essentials for a Monroe nonprofit.
It's hard for kids. Kids don't understand. So for this theater to do that, amazing. Other theaters need to do it too.
All families need to do is to go to the ticket counter and say they've been impacted by the flooding. No proof, no questions.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
It's a real act of kindness, showcasing what the season is all about.
Happy holidays. Thank you, Galaxy Theaters. Let's stick together. We'll get through this.
Again, that was Brady Wakayama with our sister station in Seattle reporting. Rod Hill reporting from the Weather Center. So I know there's a lot to track here, Rod, looking at that wind event that could have a real impact around here.
Yeah, what's interesting, we're talking tomorrow. So there's a wind advisory it's posted for tomorrow. Now it starts from the Weather Service. It's up and down all of I-5, Oregon and Washington, starting at 7 going to 4 o'clock. The potential for south wind gusts 35 to 55 miles per hour. That would be strong enough to bring down trees, give us another round of power outages, and this time around blow holiday decor all over the place as well, potentially. So make sure your property is prepared. And understand this, there are roughly, of the models I look at, half of them literally show a pretty sizable wind event. The other half simply don't show it. It's the difference between the strength of a low being fairly weak and not producing any wind to a low that intensifies and gives us that gusty wind event. The track of the low will be coming south to north. And here's the wind advisory actually the Weather Service, get this is new unless it's updated and it hasn't corrected itself, but now it has a wind advisory from Roseburg just up through Longview. So that's a change in the map from when I just saw it a moment ago. We do have some foggy areas. This is up in elevation, Willamette Valley Vineyards down in Turner, just south of Salem. So that's quite foggy on the hill, but good visibility coming into the town of Salem and good visibility, as you can see, coming into the Rose City as well. Temperature is 44 degrees, 43 in Beaverton, 39 Happy Valley, but we're kind of where we have been. We have light winds, cloudy skies, and while you might find a trace of rain, it's really pretty dry outside. Sable with the Christmas hat on is our pet of the day at kgw.com. Use the email address, send us your pet's photo. They'll become our pet of the day. Weather map for today, pretty quiet, light winds, high temperatures generally in the 40s across our state to maybe just getting up to 50. The wind event tomorrow for the KGW Impact Alert, strongest winds look to be between about 10 and 2, so right there midday. And then just typical showers, no wind really, some south breezes, 49 on Christmas Day. Right now the weekend looks like it could still be dry on Saturday and Sunday, and that's your update.
All right, thank you, Rod. Still to come here on the Sunrise Show, last-minute shoppers have been heading to downtown Portland for holiday deals. So coming up here on the show, we'll take a closer look at what some say is a sure sign that downtown is back in business.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Portland leaders are feeling pretty optimistic about the holiday shopping that's happening downtown this year. They say a new study backs up the idea that downtown Portland is back in business. KGW's Libby Dowsett joins us live from downtown with more on that study. Good morning there, Libby.
Good morning. It's festive down here, Drew. And the numbers, according to city officials, show foot traffic is up compared to last year during the holiday season, even in some cases pre-pandemic levels. Now, the data we're talking about from Prosper Portland and Placer AI shows more than 130,000 visitors hit Portland's Central City West Side on Small Business Saturday, November 29th. That's 20% more than last year and just 8% less than 2019, before the pandemic. The city shared these new numbers yesterday, suggesting things really are getting better, at least when it comes to holiday foot traffic downtown. Shoppers and business owners we talked to in the Pearl said it seems people are coming back to shop after that big drop-off following the pandemic.
Always seems to be getting better each year, especially right now. There's so many people like out shopping and stuff, so it feels good to be down here.
You know, I don't know how many times today I've heard, oh my gosh, the store's amazing, it's so beautiful, like how long have you been here for? And it's like, you only get that if people weren't coming downtown before.
And that was Eric Fry from Made Here. he's a manager there, and he said there was a big drop after the pandemic, and all those people were starting to work from home. And the Portland Metro Chamber says that's a situation they're dealing with. The vacancy rates here in downtown, all of the buildings around me that are empty, and those people not being downtown to go to local restaurants and local businesses. Drew, back to you.
All right, Libby, from your local business report there, we're going to take a look at some national consumer headlines. And we start with this news. The FDA approved a daily pill version of the weight loss drug Wegovy. Right now, patients have to get weekly injections of the drug, but the drug maker says the daily pill version had about the same weight loss and side effects in clinical trials as the weekly shot. The pill version should be available by prescription next month. Instacart says it will no longer allow retailers to run AI pricing tests on its platform. So this program was designed to help retailers improve sales and also show shoppers the best deals available. But a study last month found that it forced customers to pay different prices for the same items at the same store. Rod paid $5 and I went on up paying $3, and apparently Rod's not happy that I paid $2 less than him.
Good grief.
Just keep it, right? My goodness. All right, one more headline for you here. Barnes & Noble is planning a major expansion, opening 60 new stores across the U.S. next year. You like to hear that?
I do. My daughter loves Barnes & Noble.
So this news comes after years of store closures, but also after strong sales at stores that are still open. So the new stores are planned in states like California, Texas, Florida, and I'm going to have you guess the last one.
Illinois.
No, closer.
New York.
Closer.
Oregon.
Real close.
Washington.
There you go. California, Texas, Florida, and Washington. New stores coming. And that's your consumer report for a Tuesday morning.
Well, I went Illinois thinking Chicago area, you know, big Chicago. They might want to read a book.
Valid.
All right. Thank you very much.
But we went local on you.
We have one up in Vancouver, and my daughter loves to go there. They're really nice stores to, you go.
Yeah, but they did shut down a bunch.
Yeah.
So now they're bringing some back.
That's good to hear. Let's jump to the wind projections for the wind advisory. Again, this is not today. This is tomorrow. Strongest winds, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Early winds will be easterly coming out of the gorge to 45. This will be early morning. And then the main threat, the south wind gusts in this 10 to 2 window, 35 to 55, maybe some 60-plus mile-per-hour winds. All this should be gone by late afternoon, so the evening will be back just south to 15. Now, please understand, all models take a low, and they track the low center right up the coast of Oregon, so which is a favorable track to getting strong south winds. However, about half of the models say the low is simply never strong enough to produce big wind, and we don't get a wind event. But the other half of the models strengthen the low, and they give us similar numbers to what this model is going to show you. So this is tomorrow morning at 7. Here's the east wind blowing out of the gorge to 40 miles per hour. Now let's jump to 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Now we've got noticeable south winds overtaking all areas, 40 in Lincoln City, 45 in Salem, 30 in Portland. Could there be a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust right about noon in the Rose City? By that time, winds are starting to lessen down in the South and Central Valley. And then by 1 o'clock, the wind threat is starting to fade. And here we are at 4 o'clock. Now we're out of the strong winds. It's just more of a typical south breeze. Again, half the models don't show it, half the models do. Maybe, hopefully as a forecaster, when the model runs come in this afternoon and this evening, they will all start to show us a similar scenario. That would be nice. Here's the Oregon Veteran camera in the Dalles. Want to show off the reindeer on the grass there. As you look at the clouds over the dam and the Columbia River, 35 degrees, not much wind. Winds will be light across all of our region today. Currently 38 Astoria, low 40s in Kelso and Salem, Portland 44, and it's now freezing out in Baker City where we've had a mix of some light rain and snow showers this morning. Valley forecast, there is a shower chance. We've had mainly some traces of rain over the past few hours, but overall, this goes on to be a day during the daytime hours that's mainly dry with light winds and temperatures at least in the mid-40s, if not warming into the upper 40s to about 50 in some spots, which is kind of what we've been seeing. There's the red, the KGW impact alert for the wind advisory and the high wind threat tomorrow. All of that's gone by Christmas Eve evening. And then Thursday is a typical south breeze to 15, some scattered showers, and 49 degrees for Christmas Day. Showers on Friday. It still looks like we could be all dry for the weekend on Saturday. And then, of course, a lot of people will be driving back home on Sunday. And that is your update.
All right, thanks, Rod. We know the matchups are set for next summer's World Cup. Now, fans are racing to book a place to stay so they can catch some of the action in person. How short-term rentals like Airbnbs are helping with that when Sunrise continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
The Oregon Ducks are gearing up for their Orange Bowl matchup with Texas Tech on New Year's Day. Head coach Dan Lanning says there's plenty of room for improvement after the Ducks gave up 28 points in the second half last Saturday against James Madison. He also talked about the team's schedule, getting 12 days between games before their New Year's Day matchup, and Texas Tech has had it even worse. It's already been 17 days since they last played.
But in my opinion, this game should be played at Tech. There should be a home field advantage for them. But I know their fans will travel, our fans will travel, and we're really excited to be playing in the Orange Bowl. So I could talk about what ifs and all those pieces. There's definitely a skill and an art to making sure that your team's prepared when you have long breaks. And I think that was clear last year. Certainly will be clear now.
They play the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, if you didn't know. So early kickoff there. They're going to kick it off at noon Miami time, so 9 a.m. our time. This is New Year's Day, a week from Thursday. The Ducks taking on Texas Tech. Bowl game for Washington State yesterday. The Cougars finishing up their season by beating Utah State 34-21 at the famous Idaho Potato Bowl in Boise. One of my favorite bowl game names. This was the Cougs' first postseason win, by the way, in 7 years. So congratulations to Washington State. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will play out next summer, but demand is already spiking for short-term rentals here in the U.S. for fans who want to come out and see the matches in person. For more on that, here's NBC's Jesse Kirsch.
United States of America.
With most group stage matchups now revealed,
now we announce the cities.
Many soccer fans around the globe know where and when to travel for next summer's FIFA World Cup. And tonight, the beautiful game's faithful are already locking in plans. The 11 American host cities are seeing a 215% spike year over year in short-term rental bookings for the group stage match nights.
Oh, I'm so excited. I think it's awesome. I think that, it kind of has the same vibe as when the 96 Olympics came to Atlanta. So it's just a big deal.
Austin Calsey is a travel agent who lives outside Atlanta, where 8 World Cup matches will be played. He says his homeowners association typically only allows residents to rent their houses for a minimum 3 months. But he says the HOA waived that rule for next summer. And instead of spending money on soccer tickets, Causey's hoping to make money for a family vacation.
I mean, we are always looking for an excuse to travel. So anytime we can go, hey, if this part's covered over here financially, then that gives us a new place to shift the dollars and go explore the rest of the world.
He's probably not the only one thinking that way. Airbnb says its hosts could earn up to $210 million. And that's just one modern rental option that did not exist when the U.S. last hosted the World Cup in 1994.
Does that play into the benefits that people will be able to get locally they couldn't 30 years ago?
Yeah, certainly the case. And of course, this is good for cities, right? Because the money that gets spent on Airbnbs, a lot of that's going to stick in the host cities and not go back to some big corporate monolith in some other city.
Victor Matheson is a sports economist and professor at the College of the Holy Cross. He says this type of rental can also be an efficient way to meet demand.
You might need an extra 10,000 hotel rooms during a big event like this, but you certainly don't want to build a new hotel that's going to sit empty, 90% of the year.
Short-term rentals helping meet the moment so that when soccer stars score big next summer, their hosts can too. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News.
All right, from soccer, we're talking skiing. Coming up in our 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise, what local ski resorts are planning to open up today?
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly